Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're all doing amazing today. In this video, we're diving into the latest updates about Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos. You don't want to miss this. So make sure to stay tuned till the end, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It began on a quiet Thursday evening, one of those simple, ordinary nights that no one expects to become unforgettable. Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos had just wrapped up dinner, the kind of cozy home-cooked meal that felt like a warm exhale after a long week on camera. The candles were still flickering on the kitchen counter, and the last sound of laughter echoed as they cleaned up together, shoulder to shoulder. But somewhere between the playful teasing and the clinking of dishes, Mark's smile faded. At first, Kelly didn't notice. Mark leaned against the counter, one hand pressed to his stomach, the other bracing himself as a wave of nausea seemed to wash over him. A soft groan escaped him before he could hide it. Kelly turned sharply. "Hey, are you okay?" Mark attempted a reassuring grin, the kind he always used to downplay anything remotely concerning. Yeah, just a little indigestion. Maybe I ate too fast." But Kelly's instincts, sharpened from decades of knowing him better than anyone, picked up something different. His skin had gone slightly pale, his forehead damp. She stepped closer and pressed the back of her hand to his cheek. "You're burning up," she said, her voice suddenly tight. Mark brushed her off gently. "I'm fine, I just need to lie down." They moved to the living room, and Kelly helped him settle onto the couch. It was startling how quickly he seemed to weaken. Minutes ago, he was teasing her about her overuse of garlic in the pasta. Now, he couldn't sit up without wincing. Kelly paced the living room, her nerves sharpening into full alert. She grabbed a blanket, then a thermometer, then water with electrolytes, her brain spinning, unable to land on what felt right. When the thermometer beeped, her heart nearly stopped. 103.2 degrees Fahrenheit. Her hands trembled. "Mark, this isn't normal. I'm calling someone." Mark opened his eyes slowly, breath shallow. "Kel, don't worry, please." But the plea only made her worry more. Within an hour, his fever climbed. His body shivered uncontrollably one moment and burned with heat the next. When he tried to sit up, dizziness overtook him and he nearly collapsed again. Kelly caught him, fear splintering through her chest. She called the doctor, she called their children, she called anyone who could give her direction. Yet every voice, every well-meaning reassurance, did little to quiet the rising panic clawing at her. Suddenly, the house felt too big, too silent, too scary. Kelly sat beside her husband, brushing back his sweat-damp hair, her thumb tracing his temple. She whispered, "I'm right here. I'm not going anywhere." Mark tried to speak, but his voice was hoarse. "Remember, when the kids were little, and we would stay up all night when they were sick?" A tear slipped down Kelly's cheek. "Yes, and now it's my turn to stay up all night for you." As the night deepened, so did her fear. She barely left his side, afraid that if she blinked too long, something would change. She placed cool compresses on his forehead, whispered soothing words, held his hand even when he was half asleep. Every time he coughed or shifted in discomfort, her heart jumped painfully. Around 2:40 a.m., Mark stirred again, disoriented. "Kel, I'm sorry," he muttered weakly. "Why are you apologizing? For scaring you?" She swallowed, her voice cracked. "You are allowed to be sick. You are allowed to need care. I need you to stop pretending you're invincible." He breathed out slowly, his hand finding hers with what little strength he had. "I know. I just hate seeing you stressed." She kissed his knuckles. "I'd rather be stressed than be without you." Moments like that etched themselves into her, those raw, honest fragments that only appear when fear strips everything to the bone. As dawn approached, his fever finally broke. The hours had felt like a marathon made of seconds. Mark's breathing steadied, his skin cooled, and for the first time all night, Kelly let her shoulders drop. She curled up beside him on the couch, exhaustion pulling at every part of her. She watched his chest rise and fall, grounding herself in that rhythm. The world outside the window shifted from night to a soft, gentle morning hue. And then, because the body can only hold so much, she cried. Not the dramatic kind of sobbing, but a quiet release, the kind that happens when fear loosens its grip. Tears traced down her cheeks as she buried her face in his shoulder. Mark's voice, still weak but clearer than before, broke the silence. "Kel." She looked up instantly. "I'm here. You stayed with me all night. Of course I did. He reached up, wiping a tear from her cheek with his thumb. I'm okay. The reassurance, this time, didn't feel like a dismissal. It felt like truth. Later that morning, a doctor came to check on him. A severe viral infection, they explained, exhausting, painful, but treatable. Mark needed rest, fluids, medication, and a few days of care. Kelly clung to the doctor's words, relief filling the hollows that fear had carved. When the house was quiet again, she made tea and returned to his side. Mark was propped against pillows, color slowly returning to his face. You know, he began with a small smirk, if this is the attention I get when I'm sick, maybe I should do this more often. Kelly shot him a look that was half warning, half affection. Don't even joke about that. He reached for her hand. Thank you for taking care of me. You always take care of everyone else, she said softly. Last night, I realized how much I still need you. Not the strong version of you, just you. Mark squeezed her hand. I'm not going anywhere. The words landed deep. That night changed something, not in a dramatic, life-altering way, but in a gentle, grounding one. It reminded them of the vows spoken long ago, in sickness and in health. Not glamorous, not staged for cameras, not scripted for a show. Just real, raw, human. Later, as they curled up together to watch something lighthearted on TV, Kelly rested her head on his shoulder. His heartbeat was steady beneath her cheek. And in that moment, she allowed herself to breathe fully again. She had faced the longest night of her life, terrified, sleepless, clinging to hope, and morning had still come. Mark was still beside her, and love, once again, had proved itself in the quiet hours when no one else was watching. The day unfolded quietly, wrapped in the soft relief that follows a storm. Mark slept most of the afternoon, his body finally getting the rest it had fought for all night. Kelly stayed nearby, answering messages from concerned family and friends, though she left out the part about how terrified she had been. Some feelings were too personal to translate into text. Around early evening, Mark woke to find Kelly sitting cross-legged on the armchair across from him, glasses perched on her nose, scrolling through her tablet. She didn't notice he was awake until he spoke. You watching me sleep now? That's new. She startled, then smiled, an unguarded smile filled with gratitude he was awake enough to tease. Just making sure you're breathing. He patted the space beside him. Come here. She didn't hesitate. The moment she sat, he wrapped an arm around her, pulling her close. It felt different, closer, more intentional, as if the night had drawn them inward. For a long moment, neither spoke. Finally, Mark broke the silence. I don't remember everything from last night. It's blurry, but I remember your voice. You kept talking to me, even when I was half out of it. Kelly exhaled shakily. I talked because I was scared. I thought if I stopped, you'd drift away. He shifted, gently lifting her chin so she met his gaze. Kel, I'm not going anywhere. You're stuck with me. She tried to laugh, but the emotion still sat too close to the surface, so it came out soft and watery. You terrified me, Mark. I know, he whispered. And I hate that you felt that alone. She frowned. You don't need to protect me from worry. That's part of loving someone. You'd do the same if it were me. I already have, he reminded her gently, more than once. The truth of that pulled at her heart, memories of Mark by her bedside through headaches, surgeries, anxieties, and public pressures. He had always been her anchor. Last night, she realized how rarely she had needed to be his. Well, Kelly murmured, settling against him, I guess we're still learning how to take turns. Stay tuned for all the updates about Kelly Ripa. We are the first to publish all the information about Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos, so stay with us to get all the latest updates. And stay tuned to our USA Daily Drop for all updates. So make sure to stay tuned till the end, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for all the updates about Kelly Ripa. We are the first to publish all the information about Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos, so stay with us to get all the latest updates. And stay tuned to our USA Daily Drop for all updates.